Hello and welcome to the UK National Contact Centre Awards webinar 2023. We cannot wait to share with you loads of advice, loads of tips, and obviously some really key information for entering the awards this year. So I am delighted that we've got a load of special guests with us today. A little bit later on, we're going to see Jackie Pringle, our Director of Awards. And she is your fairy godmother who will, here she is, she appeared like a fairy godmother. Jackie will help you through the awards process from now all the way through to the awards night and beyond. So Jackie is a key person for you to get to know. We've also got a couple of our award winners from last year and one of our head judges joining us. So looking forward to that. So I can see, do you know what, it's lovely seeing all of the, hello everybody. Thank you so much for saying hello on the chat. It's great to see some familiar names, familiar faces, and some new ones amongst us. That's fantastic. So hello. So first of all, I want to introduce myself. I'm Lee Hopwood. I'm the CEO here at the CCMA. And just to give you a little bit more about my background, I've been involved in the awards for a long time. I've been involved in awards across the contact centre industry, but also in the marketing space. I've written entries, I've advised people on entering, I've had some of the entries that I've written win, and I've also been a judge on all sorts of awards. So awards is something I know, and hopefully be able to share some of my advice and tips a little bit later on. Jackie, I've already introduced, and she will be your number one person, your number one go-to person with a support team around her as you go through the process. So we're going to be here for about 40-45 minutes. And please do, if you've got any questions, please do use the chat, please do use the Q&A. And although we might not address them live on the webinar right now, we will answer them before we switch off at the end of the session. And as I say, please do get in touch if you have any other questions as we go. So what are we going to cover today? So we are going to look at an overview of the awards. And we are going to take you through some of the categories. We are going to take you through the process of entering. As I mentioned, we're going to hear from a couple of previous winners, and we are also, I'm going to have a chat with one of our head judges who is going to share with us what their view is, what they're expecting, and they'll be giving you some advice there as well. We will talk about the awards evening, and there's also some links to some resources to help you along the way. So please do look out for that. Now, the two winners that are joining us a little bit later are Babadel Adiola, apologies Babadel, and he won Outsourced Team Manager of the Year in 2022, and he's from Comdata. And we also have the Client Services and Development Director from Monzo Bank, Rachel Hastings, and they are fresh from winning their gold in the Change and Innovation category. So can't wait to talk to them a little bit later. So first of all, what is this programme? So the UK's, it is the UK's leading awards programme for contact centres. So we really are looking for the brilliant individuals, teams and organisations that are really making an impact, making a difference in our industry. One of the key things about these awards is that it's real people focus. So yes, we're looking for individuals, members of your teams that have been doing amazing things. But even when we're looking at the teams and organisation categories, there is still a heavy people focus to them. You might be, I can see that quite a few of you have been through the process before, so you know that the judging process is incredibly robust and really comprehensive. And as a result, you get so much from that process, from the written nomination, being able to reflect back, all the way through to in the second round of judging, where you might host judges on site, and that development, that learning, that networking opportunity, as well as that reflection and being able to really recognise the amazing things you've done is really, really valuable. And it's all of that that really is underpinned by a really a high standard of process that we go through, and the integrity within the process. And part of that is our expert industry judging panel. We have contact centre leaders that have been with the programme for a number of years. Some of them are past winners, but they are people that we know have also done some amazing things. And so it's also a great opportunity to meet some of those folk too. So talking of judges, these are our head judges. It's something that we introduced a couple of years ago, having our head judges. Their role is to oversee the programme, make sure that the categories are appropriate, we explore the criteria, and that whole judging process is making sure that it's really credible, and we are looking for the best people in the industry. So let us take a look at the categories. First of all, the individual categories. Now, some of these categories you may be really familiar with, but we've also got some new ones. So let me have a look. So we have some specialist areas. Again, you might be familiar with them. We've got the quality manager. We're looking for the best quality managers in the industry. We're looking for complaints managers, resource planning, CX. But we're also looking this year for the learning manager of the year. And it could be a learning and development manager, it could be a training manager, it could be a coaching manager or academy manager. It's someone who manages the development of your colleagues in the contact centre. Separately, we're also looking for the trainer of the year, who is responsible for training and actually delivering best practice training in your centre. And the third new category in the individual categories is the significant contributor. They might be a colleague working in a support team, such as a coach or a quality analyst, performance analyst, or even maybe an HR business partner or comms lead. But it could also be someone that's been seconded into a project to deliver it, who has really made an impact and made a difference. It may also be a team leader or equivalent, or someone more senior who has done something really significant outside of their day-to-day role. So really think about that. It's not for advisors, just so that you're aware. We are looking for people that have managed an operation, managed something that has had a significant contribution. So please do look out for that. And don't forget, rising star team managers are those with less than 12 months time in the role. So let's take a look at our team categories. So, of course, we are looking for brilliant L&D, complaints and change teams, and we'll also be looking for the support team that has provided the most outstanding operational support over the last 12 months. This year we have a new category, the leadership team of the year, and there we are looking for a team of leaders that is going to be maybe your heads of level. It could be director level, who have really led your operation in the last 12 months. So let's now have a look at the organisation categories. And again, we've got 3 new categories here. So as well as looking for those that are supporting colleagues through things like a new employee experience, and this is where the judges will be looking for either a great recruitment programme or an onboarding programme. Or maybe your approach to hybrid working is settled down, it's working and it's really working for you. We want to find those best practice hybrid working programs. So please do look at your operation and whether there's an opportunity to enter those ones. One of the new categories this year is the best approach to diversity, equity, inclusion and belonging. And so if you are addressing that, then please do think about entering that category. The colleague wellbeing programme, we've extended the criteria behind that. It was health and wellbeing last year, but we've extended that criteria because we do recognise that there's a lot of operations that are doing more to support colleagues, and it's not just around health and well-being, but really looking at, well, what mental and physical health support is there, maybe psychological or financial support, especially as we think about what we're going through at the moment, or maybe some personal learning. So please do think about the kind of programs that you've got in place there. And the other new category in the organisation categories is the best approach to CSR, corporate social responsibility. And it's new, and we're really recognising, looking to recognise those that are doing the right thing for society. From, it could be charitable support you're doing, through to championing environmental issues. So really have a think about those pieces. And of course, best contact centre culture and the 2 contact centre of the year categories. Please do think about entering those. There's lots and lots to enter. And once you've thought about those categories, what are the stages of judging? And there are 2 stages. The first is shortlisting. So Jackie in a moment is going to show you the process that you go through to enter. Once you have entered online, a panel of our judges, our expert judges, will be shortlisting those nominations, and we will let you know within 4 weeks of the closing date that whether you have been successful in reaching stage 2. And stage 2 of the judging is Jackie, why don't you tell us about that stage 2 of the judging? Because I know that this is where you get really involved in the awards.
Yeah, so hi, afternoon, everybody. So in this, in the final round of judging, so the judges will come out, they will interview the finalists in the individual categories, normally a lead judge and support judge, and we will do that over Teams or Zoom, whatever suits you, as a platform. The teams and the organisation categories will be invited to do a short presentation. We refer to that as panel judging. There'll be a panel of judges, you'll present to a panel of judges, so there'll be a presentation and some Q&A. Again, we'll do that Teams or equivalent, so you know you're not losing that time out of the office, and there's no expense involved in the judging side of the process neither. And for those contact centre of the year, outsourced contact centre of the year, and best contact centre culture categories, the judges will come out and visit you in your workplace. So they want to smell the coffee, they want to look on the walls, they want to talk to people. So in those categories, that is what we will do. So shall I take it from here then, Lee, and I will talk about the judging criteria this year?
Go for it, Jackie.
So we listened to your feedback last year, and we have changed the judging criteria in reducing the number of sort of sections that there are. You will find this in the toolkit, it's on the website, it's everywhere. So we've been very open and honest, transparent about what the judges will be looking for. And they'll be looking for this in your nomination. They'll be looking out for it when you do come to be interviewed or present to panel, or when we come out. So they will be looking for it throughout. So when you do complete your nomination, advice from me is just make sure that you've hit all these criteria, not necessarily in headings, but just kind of go back over your answers and just make sure that you've thought about all of these things. Okay, and of course, if you do get through to the second round, which we hope that you do, I will give you more advice on the structure of that session. Okay, so I just wanted to give you some advice really about nominating, because I talk to a lot of people and I always sort of say there are 5 steps to nominating. It's a good idea for you to maybe appoint a coordinator or somebody that's going to share the details of the awards internally. So, you know, involve all your key stakeholders in it, involve your comms team in it, and decide amongst yourselves who are your best people, your best teams, your best pieces of work to put forward. You might want to, you know, hold a workshop or something. You might have just gone through a year-end process where you've done year-end reviews. I suppose it depends on your performance management cycle, but that might sort of show up some of your absolute shining stars, some of those who have been rated as outstanding, exceeding etc. Not sure what language everybody is using these days. You might want to hold a sort of webinar internally. Don't forget that this webinar is being recorded, so it will be available for you. So you could send this out, you could play this as a leadership team. And again, just think about who you want to thank, who you want to recognise, who stood out. But, you know, remember, it is okay to nominate yourself. So if nobody else is coming forward to say, well, I'm too busy, I've not got time, it's okay to nominate yourself. We have had previous winners that have done that before. So that's something to think about as well, or nominate your team, etc. Or, you know, so yeah, and just go for it. You know, that's one thing that I do get asked quite a lot. People phone me, they email me, go, do you think this is award winning? And I'm like, well, let the judges be the decider of that. Just throw your hat in the ring, and then we'll take the rest from there. Okay. So please do note the deadline, 24th of February. It'll be here before we know it, where it's hit. We never extend beyond midnight of the closing date. That's another question I get a lot in the last week, but we never extend. We don't think it's fair to the people that have hit that deadline. You can make as many nominations as you like, so there are no limits. CCMA members do get all their entries for free. If you're not a member, gosh, we still love to have your entries, but there is a small charge. It's £249 for the first entry, and each additional entry is just £100. If you're not a member, you might want to consider joining. And if you are interested in joining, then just email Laura. She's on laura@ccma.org.uk, or you can email me and I'll pass it on, or whatever. But yeah, do think about that as well. So I'm just going to walk you through the nomination process. Really, just because I want to show you how really simple and easy it is. This should not be a blocker for anybody, okay? It should take no more than 30 minutes, and it's all done online through the awards website, and you'll get to it by going to www.ukncca.com. That stands for UK National Contact Centre Awards. Okay, so that's the way to remember that. So go there, and when you get there, you will register an account, or if you were registered last year, then you will simply log in again using your login and password that you had last year. We moved to this really easy to use new portal last year, and it worked really well. So we're sticking with it. That is really straightforward, just to sort of get yourself started. Once you are logged into the site, you just start your entry by selecting create entry. So you'll see here, you've got a dashboard, tells you how many days it is till it closes, how many hours, etc., how many entries you've got submitted. If you've got any draft entries, they would be showing here. So you will create your entry there on that green button. And then when you select your category, you just fill in all the fields. But when you're going to the categories, you get a handy little reminder. If you were to hover on those big blue boxes, it would give you the category description again on that more info part. And you just hit that blue button of enter when you've decided which you want to do. That will take you then to the entry form. So at first we will ask you some very basic contact details. So we'll take details of the nominator, and if it's an individual category, then obviously we'll take the details of the nominee as well. We'll ask you whether you're CCMA members or not, so that we know whether we need to invoice you or not. And then at the bottom of the page, you just click next. If you're unsure of some of the data, you can just put to be confirmed or a load of gobbledygook, asterisks, whatever, because you can go back to it later, right up till midnight on the closing day on the 24th of February to complete it. So don't let that stop you getting started in the system if that's what you want to do. Okay. Then we will just ask you two really high-level questions. These are free text boxes with up to a word count of 750 words. We'll get some tips in a minute from one of our judges, but as you've only got 750 words, my advice would be for you to make that content really clear, specific, easy for the reader to sort of understand, and make it compelling. Tell your story. This is your shop window. So absolutely sort of put the best into it that you can. There is an opportunity to include links to websites, pages, videos, or documents. You don't have to. Again, I think my advice is if it's relevant, then include it, but don't overwhelm the judges, because sometimes they can get lost in it all. But, things like organisation charts, maybe survey results, whether those are customer survey results or employee engagement survey results, depending on the category and the relevance, anything like that, then may add value. So you have got that option if you want to do that. Okay. Once you finish, you just click submit now. And like I say, you can still edit that entry right up until the midnight on the 24th of February. And at that point, we'll go through. So what you can do is you can keep adding more entries to your box, to your sort of dashboard. And then when you've done them all, you can either put them all through at once, or you can put them through individually. If you're a non-member, it's definitely easier to put them all through at once, because then it will just charge you correctly. But we can work our way through it, so don't worry too much about that. The most important thing is just to get them in. Okay, and you'll, like I say, see a summary of that on your dashboard all the time, so it's really user friendly. Okay, so listen, enough of me talking, of Lee talking. Shall we hear from some of our winners? So I am absolutely delighted to firstly welcome Babadel from Comdata. So Babadel, if you can, there he is. Do you just want to unmute? Hi, Babs. Welcome this afternoon. Thank you so much for joining me. And I do apologise because Lee earlier on, it gave Rachel your new job title. Bab, I know that you did win Outsourced Team Manager of the Year, but then since then you've gone on and had this wonderful promotion. Apologies that we got that mixed up there for you.
No problem.
So did you nominate yourself, Babs, or did your colleagues nominate you?
I actually got nominated by colleagues at work. I remember this vividly. They came to me and they were like, they want to nominate me for a national award. And I was like, yeah, why not? I've had a good year. Let's go for it. Brilliant.
Yeah. And how did you feel when they came to you and had that that conversation about wanting to nominate you? And then how did you feel at the next stage when you found out you were a finalist?
I was pleasantly delighted when they came to me. Obviously, when you work for a company and you have colleagues who recognize your potential and things that you've delivered on, it is something that is really, really encouraging. And when I found out I was a finalist, my days, we were all over the moon in the office, so proud, and really, really looking forward to the judging process and the event in itself.
That's interesting, isn't it? So it wasn't just you that was delighted, it was all your colleagues as
Everybody.
well.
Yeah, we were all so happy because as a company, we got nominated for 4 awards. And the plan was, let's just go in and hopefully we can bring at least 1 home,
Brilliant. And how did you find your judging interview?
It was so smooth, very relaxed and engaging interview. The judge I had was someone who really understood the industry, had a good idea what it takes to manage a successful campaign. I was asked for like my most recent performance reports, quality reports, and my end of year appraisal. We discussed the KPIs over the course of the year, discussed challenges, how we overcame the challenges, how we're able to maintain a positive and constructive relationship with the client, and most importantly, how did we support and coach the agents? On the campaign particular market I was managing, we went from a Trustpilot score of 3.6 to 4.6 within a 12-month period. And it was just an overview of how were we able to do it. It was, really, it was a lot of fun, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was a lovely, lovely judging process from my perspective.
Oh, that's so good to hear, because I do sort of We pride ourselves on our judges and the judging experience that we give to people. And I always say that, you know, it's not just about the night, the awards night. People think it's just the awards night, but people do feel so good from that very first, I've been nominated, to I'm a finalist, to coming off of the judging session with a real spring in your step and, you know, really feeling good all the way through the process. So that's really good to hear that, you know, that you had that experience. And so I didn't want to take you too much of your glory before, but what impact has the win had on your role or your career?
Yeah, incredible. To be honest, it was an incredible year for me. I got nominated, and a couple of months later, I got promoted to being an operations manager. Won the award in June, and then the client invited me for their annual commercial and marketing conference. They were planning a rebrand. Stayed in 2 5-star hotels. Got lectured by people from Google, Meta, TikTok, and the keynote speaker was a brand elevation expert. So for me, it was really, really insightful. As an outsourcer, we really, really need to know what the client's objectives are to be able to align ourselves with them. So from my perspective, from my company's perspective, it was a beautiful opportunity.
And I think you've been promoted since, haven't you? Your newest job title is?
Client Services and Development Director. Incredible year.
Brilliant. I absolutely love seeing your LinkedIn posts and following you. And, you know, that is what these awards are all about. So, and just in a couple of words or a couple of seconds, can you put into words how it felt when you won? When, you know, I know that you're up there with Ainsley.
Yes. When my name got called out, my days, we all screamed. A lot of high fives, a lot of hugs, a huge sense of relief, because obviously when you're working, you really don't have a lot of time to reflect. You're just trying to do the next thing, you know? So that moment when I won and the moments after, it was a huge sense of relief, looking back and appreciating all the hard work that had been put in throughout the year. It was incredible.
Oh, brilliant. Thank you so much for that, Babadal. And I can already see comments going in the questions and answers and in the chat just saying just how inspiring your story is. So thank you so much for joining me this morning and for this afternoon, and for sharing that with the listeners and the viewers, because it really is important that they hear how it is for you as participants of the programme. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And now I am going to invite Rachel from Monzo Bank. Hi, Rachel. Thank you for joining me this afternoon.
Hi.
So you were part of the change and innovation team that won last year. So that was absolutely amazing, and we can see you on the stage there looking delighted with your the rest of your teammates, and Ainsley looks equally as delighted, doesn't he?
Well, full disclosure, I'm not actually there, but that is my colleague and that is my team, I can say.
Oh, okay. I thought that was you at the back there. Okay,
no, it's actually
not.
No, but yes, it was wonderful. And actually, I am very old and was in bed at this point. As you can probably tell by the accent, I'm not London based, but my team that are did go. And I was in bed with my phone in my hand, like, message me when you win, message me when you find out. So yes, I was there in spirit, definitely.
Oh, bless you, bless you. So I'm guessing that was the category fairly straightforward for you for entering? And if so, what was it about our awards that made them the ones that you wanted to enter?
Yeah, so I'll take that in 2 parts. So first of all, previous to joining Monzo, I was in Barclays for 10 years, and they're huge advocates of the CCMA Awards, and I'd supported some applications through in my roles there, which was amazing. Honestly, such positive memories, such a good time. And when I came to Monzo, and when I came into more of a sort of back office support role, I thought, oh, do you know what? They might not actually be open for us, you know, because I think some people do think that if they're not a purely client-facing or customer-focused team. And then actually when you delve into the categories and you realise that some of them, there is something for everyone. So when we found out that there was a category for us, we were like, yeah, let's do it. And the history for us is actually, I'm really proud of it actually, because when I first joined Monzo, we won bronze in this category. and everyone was absolutely buzzing. It was great. Like, we were so pleased, but it really gave us that sort of fuel, that absolute fire in our bellies to say, what's it going to take to get gold? Let's do it. And that's the sort of journey that we embarked on with you last year, which paid off amazingly, which was amazing. So yeah, I think now it's something that would be very hard for us not to keep pursuing, because it means a lot to us.
Brilliant. And I think you raise a really good point there, don't you? Because actually, people might think that it is just the frontline people that are being recognised, and like you say, and I think something that I'd just like to say at this point is the judging panel are really, really good at, for example, if you had entered Contact Centre Support Team of the Year and the judges doing the shortlisting saw that, oh, actually, no, this is a change team, we would always write to you and say, the judges think that you might be better in this category. Are you okay with being judged in that category? So I think the important thing is, yes, you can talk to us at any time before the entry deadline to kind of go, where does this best fit? Where do we as an individual, where do us as a team, what does this piece of work fit best into? But if you don't and you happen to put it in the wrong place, we will always look at it and because you're not an obvious change and innovation team, are you? You're the product partners.
Exactly right. And it's part of what we do, but there's other elements to what we do, and actually we were able to bring that to life. And actually we had it in our presentation that sometimes things go wrong, sometimes we're leading on incidents, and sometimes it's not always about shipping these fantastic glitzy products that everyone loves. There's another side to it, and the judges really valued learning about, actually, we don't always want to hear what goes right, we want to hear what goes wrong. And that was great, and we really got to share that, and again at the CCMA conference when we joined as well, we were able to talk through that, which was amazing. So yes, absolutely, never be discouraged just by looking at the categories. I'd honestly take some time to delve into them, and like you say, you'll get the help and support from CCMA as well, which is great.
And I think, like you say there, Rachel, and I'm sure that Jason will say this when Lee interviews him in a couple of minutes, but don't gloss over that the judges know that not everything goes swimmingly. They know that things go wrong. And actually, to tell the judges when things do go wrong and actually what you did to overcome them is really, really valuable. And the judges really appreciate that honesty, that authenticity, and they want to see how you get over those things as well. So just talking about the judging, because you will have had a panel judging session, a presentation and Q&A. How was that for you?
So I just echo everything that's already been said, so apologise, but yes, wholly positive. And I think what really came through was that if there was any questioning, right, it was from a real genuine place and a desire to learn more. And there's never any questions there to catch you out or curveballs or anything like that. It's honestly like you're just having this honest and open conversation, right? And I think that really helped put all of us at ease. And it just felt like there was a real connection and a real interest in what we were talking about, and a desire to understand more. So to anyone that's listening, I wouldn't be afraid of any sort of Q&A. It's usually just to bring out the best of your presentation, honestly. So don't be afraid of that part. Wholly positive.
Brilliant, thank you. Again, just lovely to hear, and very often I am opening those panel sessions or closing them or whatever, and it is just great to see that the presenters have really enjoyed that session, and I get feedback saying how lovely the judges were, but it's so nice for me to hear it again just from your side. So have you any other tips for people that are thinking of taking part, apart from not being afraid of the Q&A? What else would you say to them?
I would also say that we did, it's probably obvious, right? But we sort of got together a little panel, right? A little group within Monzo to say, can we run this through with you? From a presentation point of view, I think getting your sort of timing. And we asked openly for feedback, right? So it was very much a team and a group effort. Even though you're quite restricted to who can present, especially if it's a team award, get as much input and insight from everyone as you can, and very much make it a collaboration. I think just it's a very, very, very positive experience, because I don't know if anyone on here was at the CCMA conference, but one, in fact, Grace was in that picture there, the lovely Grace who has the award. She previously had a bit of an apprehension about speaking and presenting and actually doing something like this. And going through the whole process actually really helped her. I'm not speaking for her, she would tell you if she was here. And it really does, the whole experience has really helped to sort of galvanise us and give us that extra boost of confidence as well, I think, in these sort of settings, which has been great.
Brilliant. Okay. And a bit like I asked Babs, you weren't there on the night, but how did it feel when you were on the end of your phone, and how did your colleagues feel when they were in the room? Just try and explain that feeling.
It was amazing. And like I said, like to go from like bronze is amazing, let me tell you, right? But to actually know the journey that we went through to get from bronze to gold, like to actually see that happen was genuinely one of the highlights of our careers. And like I say, I'm very old and I was in bed when this happened, so it was quite late. And I was trying to stay awake and I was looking at my phone, and when she told me, honestly, I just could not have been prouder. And it's really, I feel like it's just given the team a platform. It's given them, you know, that visibility that sometimes back office and support teams don't get, and it's not intentional. But yeah, it really has helped give everyone a bit of a confidence boost and a bit of a spring in their step, which is fab.
Okay, brilliant. Well, thank you so much for that, Rachel. That's been absolutely brilliant, and I hope that again it's given viewers and listeners, you know, just that sort of self-belief and that reason to kind of go forward and enter this year. So thank you so much. So I'm going to hand over back to Lee now, who's just going to give a little bit more advice from the judges side of things. Thanks, Lee.
Thank you so much, Jackie. I have got goosebumps listening to Babs and Rachel there. It's just so good. And I know there are a couple of questions that have come through on the Q&A and on the chat, and Jackie will pick up on those now that she's off screen. One of the questions was 700 words is not a lot to showcase all the good stuff you've got. So I'm going to try and give you some advice to try and get as much as you can in those 700 words. So first of all, tell a story. Thinking back to your days when you might have done essays in your at school, if you can tell a story, you're going to put the judges on, get the judges on side. Hopefully, Jason, that helps as well when when you get a chance to read through some of the nominations. No waffle. Cut the waffle, edit it down as much as you can so that every single word adds value. Be clear and really concise. Make sure that the judges are able to understand the nominations. So I think Rachel touched on it. Ask someone else who is not in the mix to read through your nominations so that someone else can see, actually, God, this is really good story. Avoid jargon. Don't use your internal jargon because judges just simply won't know what you're talking about. So try and avoid jargon and really pull through achievements, making it really clear what the individual or the team has achieved, but you don't need to go into too much detail. So, you know, it's okay to use bullets. It's okay to use short paragraphs. Do use metrics. Without a doubt, this can really make your nomination stand out. And it's a really good way of being able to show the impact of what you've achieved in less words. So do use metrics, and also think about the impact that you're having on colleague, customer, and on the operation and the business. You know, really do think about the outcomes that you're impacting there. Try and use relevant examples. If you can really demonstrate what has been achieved with examples, that can really bring your story to life. And if you can bring in quotes from customers, from colleagues that can really emphasize those examples, then do. And again, if you've got a quote from someone and it seems to take up lots of words, then cut it down so that you just pull through the important pieces. And that can help getting that 700 words. Make sure you hit the criteria. Jackie talked about it earlier, and just go back to that criteria for each nomination that you enter. Have you addressed each of those 7 points? Hopefully that's some good advice for you. But above all, be authentic. And Rachel talked about it a moment ago. You know, it's okay to talk about the challenges that you had. It's okay to talk about maybe that your starting point wasn't a great place. it's okay to do that, because the judges are really, they love it when there is a story that talks about the real challenges and really growing through adversity. So please do be authentic. Jason, hopefully all of that sounded like it was good advice. But Jason, you're head of service delivery at Hiscox. You are one of our head judges. Welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. I think some good advice there already.
Fabulous. Now you're going to give us some more advice, but I'm going to ask you a question first. Why do you think that people should be entering these awards this year?
Well, I think Rachel and Babadell are a good advert for it. Certainly their stories are pretty inspiring already. But for me, the awards are a great way of recognising your people, the teams that you work for and the company you work for. And I know that most people have some really good internal reward and recognition programs, but these awards are a really great way of being able to benchmark your people and your company externally against the rest of the industry. I think one of the things that sticks out for me as well is that when people enter the awards, their teams and the company get a real boost. I think we heard Rachel talk about that, about the impact it had within the team she worked for, something for the business, the teams and people to get behind. And it also supports people's development. And it's a great experience for those that enter. You know, we've talked about the process being robust, but it is deliberately informal. We do everything as judges to make people feel at ease and enjoy the experience. I always say, you know, we're not there to interview people for their jobs. We're there to hear why you've had such a great year and past 12 months. And we won't ask tricky questions. We're not there to catch people out. We're genuinely there to hear what a great year people have had and to capture that. And we will prompt people and say, you know, have you had a chance to cover everything off or not? And make sure people walk away feeling they've had the opportunity to tell us everything.
I think that's great advice, and it touches a little bit on what Rachel said. Don't be scared of the Q&A. You know, you're there to help. You're there to try and get the best out, and so I think that's really good. So, what are the key things? We've got arguably two types of category. We've got individual categories. We've got organisational categories, and they may be looking for different things. What are the key attributes that you're looking for in the individual categories and in the organisation categories?
Yeah, so I think from an individual nomination, you know, we're looking for people, as you won't be surprised for us to say this, that are good, well-rounded across the board. You've talked about numbers already, and that's a really important thing. You know, we're looking for people that know their numbers, and I think more importantly, understand and can demonstrate the impact that they've had on both their team and the wider operation. And you know, without a doubt, we're looking for great people that are energetic, passionate, great to be around, inspire others, and help people within the contacts industry be better at their jobs. I mean, we're looking for those, you know, those stars that do those things. And I guess from a team and organisation perspective, you know, you've talked about this already, but a really strong story, you know, that brings to life what you've achieved over the last 12 months. Tell us what you set out to achieve and why. So to bring that story to life, how you did it. And I think you picked up on this before, Lee, you know, talk about the results, not just from a people perspective, but also from a customer and a commercial perspective as well. So, you know, have those things in mind.
Perfect. And other than the advice that I shared a moment ago around that written nomination, have you got anything else that you want to add around completing that form?
The categories are competitive. So what I always say is, you know, what's your right to win in this category? Be really clear on that and make sure you kind of bring that to life. You've talked about no waffle, be concise, stick to the information that's relevant. That's really important. But remember, you know, as judges, we won't know your organisation. So being able to kind of signpost the journey you've been on, your key achievements in the year, and the story, and making sure you bring that to life, really important. Perfect.
And from your experience, what's been the biggest mistake that people make when they are nominating?
I think it's something we're all guilty of, which is using lots of internal abbreviations and language. Stay clear of that. And if you are going to do it, make sure you provide that clarity in the nomination. Making assumptions that we know your businesses, we won't. You know, we'll have some knowledge if it's a big brand, but you know, don't think we know how your internal processes or structure works. And going back to, not doing enough to bring that story to life, the ones that we want to be able to walk away remembering what we heard. It's quite an important piece. So really making the point of bringing the story to life is important. You've talked about being authentic. We've been around for a long time. We normally know when something's authentic. So, we don't want a sales pitch. We just want a story, and a really strong one.
Perfect. Thank you, Jason. And any last pieces of advice that you can offer for anyone that is considering entering?
I think, Rachel and Babadell bring to life the impact it has on people. It's a really positive experience. It's really rewarding. It helps you really develop and support your talent within your team and your operation. And I think you've heard it from both Rachel and Babadell. You've got nothing to lose. Go for it. The whole process is great. The experience is great. And, you've got a chance to win. And yeah, go for it.
Thank you so much, Jason. Thank you, Jason, for joining us. I really appreciate you giving us your time, both today and obviously yourself and all of our judges and volunteers. So I really appreciate your support in the programme. Thank you.
Thank you.
Fab. So as Jason said, you go through this process and then there is the opportunity to win. And oh my goodness, is the night a great night? And we've shared in the chat a link to a video that shows you the highlights from last year. Please do, if you get a chance, please do go away and have a watch of that. And that, if it will just share with you just the opportunity to really celebrate. And we'll be announcing the winners this year on Monday, the 19th of June at Old Billingsgate in London. It is fantastic. This was last year. We were very lucky with the weather last year. It's definitely one not to miss. And we will have a celebrity guest. Last year, it was Ainsley Harriott. The year before that, it was Vernon Kay. And it's a real opportunity to celebrate what you've achieved. Just being there and being able to celebrate and is great for you, great for your teams. And there's a real sense of community on the night, and there's loads of industry support around you. So lots of love in the room, and so it's an experience, an absolute experience. And I'm sure we don't need to say this during the tough times, but having this in your calendar as something to look forward to, I think is, well, we're told it's really good for morale and motivation. So so please do think about that when you're entering. Now, we're nearly there. We've had so much to share with you, and there is so much more that we can share with you. We've shared some links in the chat back to FAQs, but we're here to help. We are absolutely here to help. So download the toolkit. Again, we've shared a link in the chat. Visit the website, www.ukncca.com. Follow us on social. Please do go and check us out on LinkedIn. We are sharing all sorts of things on social. Give us a call. We will, it's a messaging service, so give us a call and we'll give you a call straight back. Or please do feel free to drop us a line. And we're here to give you guidance on which categories to enter. We'll put you in touch with people that can write entries if you're nervous about writing your entry, and obviously take you through that nomination process that Jackie has talked about for now. So we are nearly there. Thank you so much for joining us today. Please look out for an email from the team with links on it, more information, the links that we've been talking about. So please do look out for that. I'd like to say a huge thank you to our special guests, to Babadell, to Rachel, and to Jason for taking their time out today to share with you their stories. And good luck. And as you've heard, everybody that has participated in the awards before, the advice that comes out overwhelmingly is just go for it. You've got nothing to lose. Thank you so much for joining us today. We'll see you soon. Good luck. Bye.
Bye.